Good morning, Oil Campers. My name is Crystal Lance, and I am a mom of two. I have my son, who is 7 years old, and my daughter, who is 5 years old. And one of our jack-of-all-trade oils that we use on a regular basis is lavender. So today I'm going to share with you some amazing ways that we use it in our family, and hopefully they can help you start using this oil as well. So our number one way we use lavender in our house is every single night. Our children get lavender in their diffuser just before story time. So this helps calm everyone and get everyone down and ready for that restful state and for an easy transition to go to bed. So we put 4 drops in their diffusers in their bedrooms, as well as then we change it up if we have any seasonal threats or anything like that. But primarily we have lavender in there. We also use it in our diffuser in our living room and dining room area. If when we get home from work, we've had a stressful day, or if the children are really wound up from the day they've had, or maybe there's a lot of emotions happening that day and we're seeing that dinner's a bit of a stressful environment for them, we will put lavender in the diffuser, and it just calms and soothes the whole environment for dinner, and everyone gets to share a little bit more about their day and have their emotions in check. So another way that we use lavender, and this is my favorite, is as from a mom standpoint. This is kind of my boo boo be gone oil. So most recently my son had fallen at school, and with the restrictions in the abilities that the teachers can provide first aid for a child is essentially putting a band-aid over their cut. They're not able to clean it out or anything like that, and I wasn't called at work to be able to come and tend to him. So he came home with a very large gash on his hand, and it had already been about 5-6 hours since the incident happened. So he already started to have a little bit of the healing process, but the problem is a lot of the healing process involved excessive amount of dirt, sand, anything like that was already starting to be healed within the wound. So right away, we put 2 drops of lavender right on the palm of his hand, and I let it just sit there for a couple hours, and we didn't put anything on it. And then before bed, I put a band-aid on it because it was pretty sensitive for him. The next morning, there was a scab that had formed, and it almost looked like the cut had been about 2 or 3 days healing. But what was amazing is we seen every single bit of the sand was completely drawn out of the wound and was sitting on top of the scab. And we had no redness, no nothing compared to what it looked like the night before. So we just continued using the lavender on his little bit of a cut. And within a day or two, it was almost completely gone, and it no longer was causing him any discomfort, because you can imagine it was on the palm of his hand. So anytime there's a bump, bruise, scrape, burn, anything like that, we use lavender. I use lavender often because I have a tendency to hit a rack in the oven or touch a hot pan, because I'm always frantically trying to get things ready. So the first thing I do, even before I put cold water on a burn, is I put a drop of lavender, and it almost instantaneously soothes and draws out that burning feeling from your skin. Another way we use it, we have a pool here at home, and we find that the kids aren't as savvy about coming and seeing us for reapplication of their sunscreen, and sometimes we forget about it. So after they've been in the water, sometimes they get playing around in the yard, and we notice that they get a little bit of a sunburn. So maybe on their shoulders or on their nose or on their forehead. So I have made up like a sunburn saving spray for us. So it includes some distilled water, a little bit of Epsom salt, and a couple drops of lavender. So if the kids are a little bit tender, what we do is we just spray that on, and the next day there's 0 tenderness, 0 redness. If anything, they look like they got a really good tan. So we've replaced those toxic filled things like solar cane or anything like that would help soothe the sunburn. We now have a little sunburn spray. Another thing is that you can use this for any forms of skin irritation. So there's a vast array of irritations that people may have. My daughter is prone to many of the skin irritants. So we use this in her bath. So this afternoon you're going to hear from me and her, and we're going to be making one of her favorite things, which is a fizzing bath salt. And we use lavender, and it calms down any irritants that she has on her skin. As well as both of my children do end up with a lot of allergic reactions. and they're sporadic. So sometimes we end up with some serious flare-ups. So what we do is we just soothe them with lavender. So I just do a little bit of coconut oil and some lavender in my hand, or if I have the Lavender Touch, which is a 10 ml roller bottle that's already pre-diluted with fractionated coconut oil, I'll just rub on that area where we're having that flare-up for their allergic reaction. So this here, you got two different ways of application. You got your pure 15 ml bottle of lavender, and then they also have the Touch, which you can make yourself with a roller bottle. You can add, so for children, you add 5 drops of lavender and the rest fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, and then for adults you would add 10 drops and fill it up with fractionated coconut as well. My last tip that I have for lavender, and it's something that hits our family a lot. My son has a lot of issues with emotions, and so we find during the winter months he has a tendency to either bite his lips or lick them often, or he'll even chew on his winter coat. So you can just imagine with that moisture around his lips, he's always got a rash, and it's almost like a chapped skin all around it. So we use our Lavender Touch for him every morning before he goes to school. He gets it all the way around his lips, and it's very soothing, and we've started to see that the chapped lips and chapped skin all around his lips is far less. So I hope that you were able to take some of these tips and be able to start using lavender more often in your home, as well as I look forward to seeing you this afternoon as we share some of our DIYs in our family, how we use lavender. Thank you very much for joining this morning, and hope you have an amazing day.